Hey, what's up? This is Stoneybaby. I am the GM of the Guild Big Crits and the producer of the web show by the same name. We're here today to do a new segment with LearntoRaid. This is called Learn to Lead. The idea of the Learn to Lead series is to share with you lessons that I've learned, most of them the hard way, and principles that I've created, and concepts and ideas that I've used to shape my leadership process on a daily basis as I run Big Crits. Before we can talk about anything else, before this series even begins, we need to start at the beginning. Core principles. I have 3 core principles that I use to guide my decisions on a daily basis in Big Crits. And I try to shape everything that I do around these 3 principles because if you don't adhere to them, nothing else matters. You've got nowhere else to go. Principles are: number 1, communication. Number 2, consistency. Number 3, accountability. Communication is the foundation for everything that you do in your guild. If you're not communicating to your people, you're going to alienate them. You're going to leave them in the dark. They're going to be frustrated by the decisions that you make and they will not support you. What do I mean by communication? Number 1 starts with basic things like write out guild policies and post them on the forums for everybody to see. Stay in touch with the policies, make sure that they don't get outdated, update them as needed. Let people know that the policies are there. Another big thing for communication is every initiate that comes on board in Big Crits, I give them my talk about what my expectations are for them. So if people know what your expectations are, then you can then hold them accountable for those expectations. And we'll get into accountability a little bit later, but you can see how this all ties together. So communicate. Let people know where you stand, what's going on, where they stand. Sometimes is even more important. Another thing is communicate to the guild. Guild updates, guild post, make sure people are on the forums and are active on the forums. Post things on the forums, direct people to the forums, have a monthly guild meeting. Let people know what's happening in the guild, especially as major changes come down the pipe, as there are big changes to your guild, as there are big changes to the game. Make sure that you are communicating this in general, and then also making it okay for people to come to you with questions. Number 2 is consistency. Consistency means that when faced with a similar situation, you are applying the same solution to that situation that you applied to the similar one that happened in the past. It means that you're adhering to your guild policies. It means that the guild policies adhere to you and your officers just as much as they adhere to your members. Consistency can be the easiest of the rules to adhere to because all it requires is that you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. But you do need to evaluate these decisions, and you need to also make sure that, again, these rules and these decisions that you make apply to yourself and your officers and your GM and your raid leaders and your girlfriend and your boyfriend and whoever the hell else, that this rule applies to every person in the guild, because that's what it is. It's a rule. And if the rule needs to change, then you can change the rule. You just need to communicate the change to the rule. Number 3 is accountability. And only after you have, 1, communicated your policies or your expectations, and 2, consistently applied them, then, and only then, do you have the right to hold people accountable to those policies or to those expectations. And what's more, you can hold people accountable to them without fear of guilt or remorse. But it's a two-way street. You not only have the right to hold people accountable, but you do also have to hold people accountable. You will lose good people in the guild if you let the bad people run wild. And that could apply to attitudes or it could apply to play style. But people don't want to stick around with shitty people or with shitty players, depending on what they want to get out of the game. Those are my 3 guiding principles: communication, consistency, and accountability. And I truly believe that if you apply those principles, whether in your daily life or in your guild life, that you will eliminate future problems, you will alleviate drama, and you'll generally surround yourself with better people who are happier and who want to be there. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to LearntoRaid, and subscribe to Big Crits. This is Stoneybaby, and may all your hits be crits.